With Vancouver's growing fashion industry, there's more and more new and up-and-coming designers to look forward to every year. Different schools producing different young talents, Vancouver is shaping up to be the fashion city that it is meant to be.
So today, Inlook is going to catch up with one of Vancouver's established fashion designers, Alex Yu, who launched his label Alex SU in 2014. About a year after, he studied at London College of Fashion. As a recurring designer at Vancouver Fashion Week, he was showed his collection for the 5th time last season, and the 6th time this coming fall and winter 2017 season. Alex has been one of the crowd's favorites. His fun and playful collection is always something people look forward to. Tell us about your current collection for the next season.
Yeah, so the current collection, Spring-Summer 2017, it's called the Perceived Analogy. So it's inspired by my childhood and upbringing, because I was born in Taiwan, but I immigrated here to Vancouver when I was 7. So at home I was really exposed to the Asian culture, but at school I was exposed to the North American culture. So, as I grew up and I got into high school, I was immersed to both of these cultures constantly, and it got to a point where it's kind of like, at school, people don't think I'm North American enough because I have some Asian culture from back home. But when I go back to Asia, to my friends or my family there, they think I'm really whitewashed. So it's kind of like I'm stuck in between. So I kind of took that feeling into the collection. So the collection, I used a lot of different textures and materials and merged it all into one garment. And then I also took a lot of references from my childhood, like the music I listened to, the cartoons I watched. So there's a lot of references from the 90s kind of girl band, like Spice Girl, and then also Power Rangers, which I loved to play when I was a kid. So I put that, the colors of the Power Rangers, put it in the collection, and also I put that in the hair during my runway show.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so that's my Spring-Summer 2017 collection.
Would you say you have a favorite out of all your collections?
Well, I've done 5 collections up to now, and I really can't say as the favorite one because, you spend so much time on each collection, and of course during that time, you're so immersed into that collection. So when you look back, it's okay, you can't really pick a favorite. It's kind of like okay, I can't pick a favorite kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
That's awesome. So what do you think of when you're designing usually? What's your process?
My process, the first thing I do is obviously look at fabric. I get inspired by fabric, I touch it, I feel it, and I usually take a whole bunch of fabric and then go home and kind of, really feel it and see which are the main ones that I want to work with. And in terms of inspiration, I get inspired from a lot of things, but I find that I usually gravitate towards subculture and, literature and art, so more towards that field.
And more kind of a combination between Asian culture and North American culture.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of that in my collection because how I am, how I'm raised and stuff. So that's a really important part of my stuff. I think I'm really multicultural.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that makes sense.
So talking about your childhood, what was your earliest, I don't know, inspiration as a kid?
Well, I was raised in a not very traditional, but an Asian family, and I'm pretty sure you would understand. They think in order for you to make a living or be successful, you need to be a certain job. There are certain stereotypes. You have to be a doctor. You have to be a lawyer. You have to be a whatever.
Engineer.
Yeah. So that was kind of how I was raised, and then so after high school, I actually went to SFU for computer science.
No way, really?
Yeah, I was studying computer science for 2 years, and then I hated it.
I bet.
It was just you're sitting in front of a computer every day and programming. So, I've always liked fashion. I can't really pinpoint a point of time in life, when I started to like fashion. But in high school, I was watching Project Runway and then America's Next Top Model. It was a very different world, and I was really into all these different brand names. I watch a lot of fashion shows, read magazines, and then on the internet and stuff like that. But it never occurred to me that I could be a designer. So after 2 years at SFU, I was kind of what do I really want to do? And I start thinking about that. So I was thinking about fashion merchandising and marketing. So I took a sewing course to kind of see if I can you know, it's not really marketing, but I just kind of want to see if I can do it. So I took a sewing course and learned how to sew. So I thought like I picked it up pretty quickly, and then I thought it was really fun to be able to,
That's
you know,
so cool.
change your imagination into something very tangible. You know, it's just like that process. I find that really interesting. So I did that, and then I just made some projects and stuff and applied to Blank Madonna. So I got in, so I did the fashion design at Blank Madonna, and then after that I went to London College of Fashion for my postgraduate degree.
That's so cool. What, like, at what certain time were you like, this is it, like, this is what I want to do?
I'm gonna be a fashion designer.
Yeah, I'm gonna pursue this, like, this
I guess
is...
it's like the first time that, you know, I actually done something.
Really?
Like-
So it was like after like the media that you were really interested in?
Yeah, and then we learned how to sew, and then the first thing you make is a skirt, a women's like a basic
Okay,
skirt, and it's
I
like,
see.
you know, you kind of understand the concept between of how to turn something into a garment, and I thought that was really fun. And then, like, okay, like if I know how to do this, I will be able to change, you know, all my imaginations or whatever into garment. So I guess that would be like the moment that I decided, you know, I want to continue on in this path.
No more computer science.
But I mean, it's good because I have that background, so I'm able to do my own websites and like all the social media stuff, and then prints. I do a lot of my own prints, so those are all done digitally. So I guess that background still helped me with that because I know how to use all those programs, so I don't have to hire extra help to do that.
That's
and
so
then
cool.
yeah,
So like when you started, like you pretty much ran your entire business by yourself.
yeah. Well, still right now, pretty much, like I would say, like 98% I do it myself.
Wow. So
Yeah.
your marketing and your
Yeah,
photography,
social media, everything.
Your branding.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's so intense.
Yeah,
That's super
that's
intense.
Well, I mean,
That is
because
a lot.
as an emerging designer, it's really hard to have a team because obviously you don't make enough money to be able to pay people. And then
Yeah.
if you have interns, it's like there's not that much to do during off season. Like during Fashion Week, obviously I have interns to come help me during, you know, backstage, dress models and stuff.
Right.
But on an everyday basis, you don't really, like, there's not so much to do for more than one person, but it's a lot for one person, but you know what I mean? It's so,
It's more of you.
yeah, so it's kind of like a full-time job to me. I work like 12, 13 hours a day.
Wow, no way.
Yeah. But if you're passionate about it, then, you know, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
That is
That's
true.
true.
We know.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. So what would you say, like, starting out, just being able to start something and like being able to like produce your work out there, what would you say was probably like the hardest obstacle to overcome?
The hardest part is obviously like financially. I'm sure that's for every creative industry. And fashion in Vancouver, especially the fashion industry, is so small. And the whole fashion sense in Vancouver is very, I would say, conservative. And people like minimal things, you know, black, white, gray. So, and my stuff are very colorful. So it
yes.
really sticks out.
Yes.
So I think I do have a following of people, you know, who support me and stuff, but it's harder for me to go big in this industry in Vancouver.
Interesting.
So I guess that would be the hardest thing, you know, and then to get into retailers as well, because people would think like, oh, it's too colorful, you know, it doesn't go with our inventory. So, but I wouldn't want to compromise my creative vision just so I can
Right.
sell in Vancouver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
Would you have like any advice for starting off designers, people that want to jump into the field of fashion?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is you have to make sure this is what you want to do and you love it, because you will be spending a lot of time, like probably when you wake up until you go to bed, just doing this, because I think fashion design is not just about making clothes. Like when you build a brand, it's about everything. You know, everything, it has to have the same vision, from packaging to website to social media. So it is a lot of work. So if you don't love it 100%, it will be very tiring and it will be very difficult. But if you do love it and it's something you're passionate about, then go for it.
That's crazy.
good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's insane. So in terms of like say financially starting, how are you able to pretty much get over that and like be able to like pursue this full time, because it's not easy like being able to jump into something like this full time, right?
Like how?
Yeah. How do you do it?
Well, I mean, I got a lot of support ever since I started. Like my first collection was sponsored by Niche magazine. So they're like a Victoria-based fashion magazine. So they pretty much, pushed me to start my first collection. So that was that, and then I'm being sponsored by Vancouver Fashion Week right now. So that takes a lot of load off, and then I have pop-up shops every season, so I do make some money off that. So that money will go towards the production cost of the fabric and the prints and everything. Cool. And obviously I'm not making a lot of money, but I mean, every emerging business is like this. You won't be making any money in like the first couple of years.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's normal. So yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Do you have like a favorite brand?
Brand?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, my favorite designer is Ray Kawakubo of Comme des Garçons.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been following her work since I was in like grade 9 or grade 10. So, her kind of style aesthetic has a lot of influence on me, but not necessarily in my design, but like the whole kind of
like process.
work ethics and how you approach brand. And then, she's very famous for her avant-garde look, but what makes the most money are her play t-shirts. Like the heart one.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're really famous. She's really famous for being able to be very avant-garde, yet business central at the same time. So I think that's very important, especially right now for young designers. You can't focus too much on, I want to be super creative and make clothes that nobody would wear.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but you can't be too commercial that you can find the stuff, at a mall. So
Yeah.
I think her kind of idea of that balance is what I kind of mold my business model after.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Where do you want to be in like a few years from now? Like, what is the end goal, or like your ultimate dream to see Alex SU in the world, pretty much?
Well, I obviously want to branch out into, other continents, like maybe go east in Toronto, New York, or go to Europe, London, Paris, because I believe my style is more of that aesthetic, especially in London, because that's where I studied. So a lot of like my style and influences unconsciously is inspired by the culture there. And I'm applying to London Fashion trade show right now after winning the
Nice.
Nancy McElroy at Vancouver Fashion Week. So I'm
That's
applying
exciting.
that. So if I get into one of the shows next season, I'll be going there. So that's like the next step.
Oh, thank you so much, Alex.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
It was really, really awesome hearing all your ideas.
Yeah.
And we really hope that like everything happens, everything that you want in like the next few years will happen for you. And like we'll see your collection on Vancouver anyway.
Yeah, super excited for
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.